Welcome to the Business Connection, your opportunity to see and hear from small business owners in this state. We would like to thank our sponsors, Metro Omaha Women's Business Center and Leading Edge Entrepreneur Group.
Welcome to the Business Connection, your opportunity to meet and hear from small business owners in the state. Now, what you may not know is that small business significantly impacts Nebraska's economy. And with that said, today I have a small business owner here. Her name is Diva Mejias. Diva, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much, BC, for having me here.
Yes. Now, Diva, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I was born and raised in the East Coast. I was born in New York, spent most of my career there, spent about 31 years working for corporate America within the East Coast. And back in 1999, I was transferred to the state of Nebraska with United Parcel Service as their district controller. And I was in charge of all of the state of Nebraska, South Dakota, and North Dakota, always in the finance and accounting arena.
Okay, great. So now when did you start thinking about starting a business? When did you retire, I should say that? Or when did you change jobs? That's what I'll say.
Well, back in 1999, when I was transferred to the state of Nebraska, I found Nebraska to be a wonderful state to work and live in. So I spent 5 years here, and I was transferred again to the state of Pennsylvania. After 5 years of being there, I decided to retire. My husband and I, we moved to Florida.
Wow.
We spent a couple of months there before I realized that it was, I retired too young.
Too young. Okay.
So I felt I wanted to do what I do best, and that's work with numbers and work with people. Okay. So where best to do that but to come back to the state of Nebraska and open up a business here.
Okay. And what made you invest in the Liberty Tax franchise?
Well, Liberty Tax Service, it's been around for a very long time. Mm-hmm. It was founded by John Hewitt. We currently have about 4,000 offices throughout the United States, worldwide.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that.
And we are geared to be number one, the number one tax preparation service in the entire world by the year 2020. That is our goal.
Wow.
So when I was looking for an opportunity to do what I love to do best, remember, I'm retired.
That's right.
I wanted to do what I love to do. And when you are looking to do something above and beyond what you currently do, you always want to do something you love to do.
Right.
Because you're going to do it for a long time.
That's correct.
So I felt Liberty Tax Service fit my needs and what I wanted to do.
Oh, great. Well, let me ask you this. So tell us, like, when you were thinking of starting this now, as a franchise, that's a little different. So some of the things are put in place for you. Talk a little bit about some of the things you had to do just to get your franchise started.
Well, first of all, when you decide to go buy a franchise, you have to understand they're going to give you a system. So you get a system and you follow the system, but it's your business.
Okay.
So you're ultimately responsible for everything, from payroll to
just like if you're a small business owner doing something else. Okay.
One thing that I like about Liberty is the support. First of all, as I mentioned, it was founded by John Hewitt, and the support system behind the name is huge. And not only that, but we also have a 5013C, Una Familia Sin Fronteras, on the Hispanic side, that also does so much for the community. Liberty Tax Service right now is the only tax service preparation in the entire United States that the Department of Education has us listed as being able to provide services for the Hispanic community to let them learn more about their ITINs, about the individual taxpayer identification number. So it gives back to the community. When I wanted to go back into business, my goal was do what I love to do best and make sure that I have an impact to the community of wherever it is that I was going to go into business.
That's a great tip for our viewers, especially those who are thinking of going into business. Because one thing that people may not know is that small business makes up 96.6% of our employers. They also employ 50.9% of the private sector labor force. So it's really, really crucial to the fiscal makeup of our state. So that's a really good thing. So Diva, as we talk a little further, let's talk about some of the tax implications that we know you're going to have to deal with the Affordable Care Act. So just a little bit, just touch on that a little bit so that some of the viewers can understand maybe a couple of those items that are coming up this fall.
Yes, one of the things that we've been looking at as a tax preparation service for the community is that there's so much confusion over the Affordable Care Act. A lot of people really don't know the difference between that and Obamacare. Right. There is no difference, it's one and the same. So what we have at the Liberty Tax offices, now the Liberty Tax Service franchise that we own, we have 4 offices in the Omaha area. Okay, 4.
In Omaha.
And we employ quite a bit of people. And we're they're not employees of ours, we're all family because it's a small business organization. But what we're doing is to help impact that community regarding the affordable health care is that we're going to be opening up November 15. Our offices will be open to help individuals navigate through that whole process. As you know, it's all been in the news that as of this week, there's been legislation that's affecting the affordable health care out there. So it's an influx of information coming out.
Right.
People are confused.
They
need guidance. So we will be open, free of charge to the public to come so that we can help them navigate through what it is that they need. Because ultimately, there could be a tax implication.
Right.
If you do not have health care, you may be imposed a tax. So you need to understand some of that.
Yes.
Some individuals think it's just a flat fee. Well, it could be, depending on your filing status and your income, but it also could be a percentage of your income. So it's best for you to be more informed, have that knowledge behind you before you start selecting what type of coverage you're going to need, or even if you qualify for some subsidies.
Right, because there's that as well. That's true. That's very true. Now, so November 15th, your offices will be open, and you have 4 offices around the city. Is that correct?
Yes, we do.
Okay, and what are some of those locations that you have?
Sure. We have one at Westwood Plaza on 120th and West Center Road.
Okay.
We have one at North Saddle Creek Road at 644 North Saddle Creek Road. We have one at 3302 Q Street in South Omaha. And we currently opened recently a kiosk inside the new neighborhood Walmart on 50th and L.
Well, congratulations. So that's your 4th location, huh?
Yes.
Great, and that's great because it's giving, you're opening up in places where the need is greater. Because you talked about the I-10s, and that gives them more opportunity to get to a couple places there in South Omaha to get that information. Is that correct? I also know that Liberty Tax, in your locations especially, does do a lot of giving back to the community. So why don't you talk about some of the things that you're doing for the teachers and the firefighters, but also to individuals that are coming into your offices and getting $50 handed to them once they walk in. So talk a little bit about some of the promotions and some of the contributions that you're making.
Yeah, from a promotional standpoint, everyone that walks into our offices from January 1st through February 14th are entitled to $50 cash in the flash. That's what the promotion we call. And also, when you refer someone, we pay for referrals. So everyone that you refer a friend. We call it a send a friend program. You're also entitled to another $50 cash.
Wow, I'm going to have to take advantage of that. Are you listening, viewers?
From a contribution standpoint, the month of March, we have appreciation weeks where we do free tax preparation for certain professions. For the first year, it's totally free. After the first year, you'll have a huge discount of 50%, could be 35 to 50% discount on whatever the system says you owe. So for example, we'll have 1 week of Teachers Appreciation Week where if you're a teacher, you can come in. Another week we have firefighters. Another week we have policemen.
And this is free. They can make an appointment. They come in and they get their taxes prepared for free.
Yes.
Wow. Now that's really giving back.
And we have the nurses and the healthcare professionals and.
Wow, so that's great. So you kind of go through certain parts of the industries who are helpers. I mean, the nurses, the fire department, the teachers,
and
they're all in that.
And military. Very important for military. My husband is a former Marine, so we're highly on the veterans. We take care of our own.
That's so great.
In addition to that, at our offices, everyone that comes in and gets their taxes prepared, as a small business owner, we provide 1 meal to the open door mission, so that for every tax return we do, we give back to the community at least 1 meal for the homeless at the open door mission.
That's great. That's amazing.
And we're drop-off points as well. We have boxes where you can come if you want to donate to the Open Door Mission.
Okay.
You can drop off your goods at our offices.
Oh, I didn't realize that. So there's a drop box if you want to bring, newly worn clothing. You can drop those off. Cell phones and you're taking cell phones as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, Cell Phones for Soldiers is another program that we have where we collect all of the cell phones that anyone wants to discard, bring them in, we ship them off where they get cleaned, and approximately 75 minutes are put on those phones.
Oh, wow.
And they're sent overseas so that the soldiers can call back home.
Wow, well, you're doing a lot in the community. That's great, and that's probably why these offices are just growing so well. And I heard one thing that you said, as a small business owner, it's important to realize the people that you work for, and respect them. And you were saying, well, your employees were not employees, they were family. That's a great trait to have. Speak on that a little bit.
Well, what we do is, and we're currently going to have an open house on August the 23rd at the Westwood office on 120th and West Center. An open house for tax school.
Oh, okay.
What we do is we have a full 10-week course. It's tuition free to the public.
So education you offer as well?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
It's tuition free.
Okay.
There is a small fee for the books. Okay. But we have 10 weeks of teaching where you can come twice a week, either mornings or evenings, so the schedules are flexible.
Okay.
And whether or not you want to learn how to prepare your own taxes, or whether or not you want to seek part-time seasonal employment afterwards, we will teach you the basic income tax course. Basically, the 1040 federal form is what we go through line by line so that you can be more educated in with your own taxes, or even to get employment. Throughout those weeks, you get very close to the folks that you teach.
Absolutely.
And I care about the people. So I want to make sure they learn and they stay with us.
Yes,
so that's why
absolutely.
I say, after all, we become a family.
Family, yes. And that 10-week, that's really good because normally those classes, you have to pay for them to learn about how to do taxes usually.
Some places charge us.
Yeah. So the 10-week course, you can learn about how to do your own taxes, as well as if you're thinking of employment, then there's those opportunities there as well.
Absolutely. There's testing, there's quizzing and testing, and eventually you get offered an opportunity to work.
Now, if our viewers wanted to get in touch with you, I know you have 4 offices. Is there a main office that they can just send questions or even call to get more information?
Yes, they can call me direct at the Westwood Plaza office on 120th and West Center Road. We're at 2734 South 123rd Court at Westwood Plaza, 120th and West Center.
And is there a phone number that they may call on as well?
Yes, it's 402-884-6943.
And now, is the education offered at all the locations or just at one location?
They're located right now at 3 different locations. The Walmart kiosk, we will not be having classes there because it is a smaller venue. But at the other locations, we will have classes starting September the 15th. So if you're interested, please come by at our open house on August the 23rd at the West Center office so that you can meet the instructors, see the books, and you never know, you just might fall in love with numbers just like I did many years ago.
Well, it's so funny because I remember, I used to hate numbers, but I did take a class recently, Diva, at Liberty Tax that kind of gave me some insight and information on how to do my own taxes better, and it gave me a better understanding of what was happening because you take your taxes to someone and they do them. So I think this is really a really good thing for people to get involved in and to go, even if they're not thinking of getting a job in it, but at least to know, to have that information so that they can make informed decisions. What are some of the key points you think that when you're having your taxes done by someone else, questions you should ask? As a tax professional, what are some of those things as a person going to have their tax prepared? What are some of those key things that they should at least know up front or have to ask up front?
Yeah, first and foremost, when you go get your taxes done, with anyone, regardless of who it is. If they're not asking you questions, something's wrong.
Okay.
Because not every situation is different. Every person is different.
Absolutely.
You have different filing statuses, you have different income requirements. There could be just questions on several deductions that you might miss because someone did not ask you the question.
Right.
So most importantly, whenever you go anywhere, they need to be asking you questions.
Okay.
First and foremost. But secondly, then, you should be able to ask them of them. If they're not asking you questions, you should be asking them, what income are you reporting
Yes.
for that individual. Understand that if they're preparing your taxes correctly, you're not going to differ. Your refund or your balance due should not differ from place to place if they do it correctly.
Okay, so
If
no
they
matter
do it
where you would go,
correctly.
it should be the same, because that's the information. I mean, it is what it is, right? It adds
Right.
up to, okay.
It is what
great.
it is.
Okay.
The problem that I find being in this business is that individuals go to different preparation places where they're not being asked questions. So therefore,
Okay.
you may own a home and someone doesn't ask you whether you
If you
own a
own-
home or not, and you may miss out on the mortgage interest deduction.
Absolutely, yes.
You may have, you may not even have considered putting money into an IRA where it could be benefiting to you on your tax return if you do open up an IRA. So there are
Okay.
different questions that they have to be asking you.
Yeah, and if they're not, then we need to find out why.
Right, right.
So the other thing too is, as a business owner, Diva, what do you find is your greatest accomplishment, as a business owner? Just kind of expound on that a little bit.
My accomplishment, and I tell all of the folks around me all the time, is you need to make sure that customer service is your top priority.
Absolutely.
When you help someone and that smile and that satisfaction, because taxes, the word tax alone is
Scares-
frightening.
it is
It's
frightening, isn't
for
it?
many people
It is.
because they just don't know where to go.
Right.
So once you can alleviate that person's burden of even thinking that they have a tax situation that they cannot navigate through alone, that's my satisfaction, to be able to help
them.
communicate with the individual, help the
Yes.
individual, assist them in whatever it is. We do have written guarantees at Liberty Tax Service where we do help you.
Okay.
We help you throughout the whole process. So when you come into Liberty Tax Service offices and you pay the fee, you really have us all year round. We do not desert
And
you.
your offices are
regardless.
open year round, is that correct?
Yes, we are.
Yeah, and I don't think everyone knows that, because usually they'll say, well, they're open till a certain time, and then all the offices are closed. But
Yes.
your offices are open year round.
Yes, and
Great,
our
and of course the
phones-
hours are different, but you are there year round.
Yes, the hours may differ, but we are available 365 days a year. You can call us, you leave a message, you get a call back right away. Sometimes you actually get someone because there's usually people in the office.
Right.
In addition to the Liberty Tax Office, we also have we have M&M Insurance
That's right. I was
Associates.
going to ask you about because when I think of retiring for you, that means reinventing, right? So you've reinvented a couple of times, right? So tell us a little bit about the M&M Insurance.
Well, the
'cause I know that
M&M
you have that
Insurance
one.
was born from helping people throughout their tax return.
Oh,
Whereas
okay.
when we got to the itemized deductions, a lot of times after telling us that they own a home, they would always ask us, do you know of anyone that has insurance, or my insurance is too high, or so we decided that we would help the individuals, our clients, and go into the insurance business. So we do have property and casualty, home, automobile, business insurance. So we do sell insurance within, as an M&M Insurance Associates within the offices of.
Of Liberty. Oh, so let's see now. When you retired, you really weren't retiring, right? You just got out of the, you just left the corporate world and decided to. But this is what you should do. I mean, if you're going to retire, then you're just reinventing. So now you've got 4 offices, and so is there retirement in the works anytime soon? Or I should
I'm
say,
just encouraging folks that if they're going to look for a franchise opportunity, Liberty Tax Service is one of
it's
the
a great
very good franchise opportunities.
It does sound
to
like
seek.
it.
So if
It's-
you're interested, seek me as well. I can guide you through the whole process.
Yes.
And help you as well.
Well, I think that's really good, because I think a lot of times when people think of franchises, they always think, oh my gosh, it's gonna, be millions of dollars and a lot of paperwork. But it sounds to me that this would be something that people could get into with a few dollars and actually be able to be the business owner without all the overhead of having to start and get, you know what I mean, and do all those things. So that sounds like that's something that really worked out good for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
And do you think about Florida? Have you been to Florida lately?
Yes, I have been. I have been, and I miss Florida.
You miss
but,
Florida?
Nebraska's a good place to be.
It is. It really is. And when I think of when they say that Nebraska, the good life, I really believe that. It's fast enough that you don't have to go too fast, and it's slow enough that you're up with everything. So I think it keeps the trend of everything going. If you had a couple things that you'd want to share with someone who may be in a franchise or thinking of a franchise, or someone that might be thinking of getting into business, just give us some points. What should be some of the things that they should be thinking about?
Well, first and foremost, they should really think about what their passion is. If they're passionate about something, a subject, a topic, whatever it is, pursue it. When you are happy and you believe in what you're doing, it doesn't matter what avenue you take,
Right.
you're going to be successful. Like I mentioned, you get up in the morning every day to go to work,
Right.
regardless of whether you're self-employed or whether you
That's
work
true.
for someone else.
That's right.
You have to want to do it.
Yeah.
You have to get up
Have
in
to have
the
that
morning with
willingness
that
to-
willingness, with that
Yes.
passion,
Yes.
with that drive.
Desire, yes.
And once you have that desire and that drive, you gravitate people to you because
true.
they recognize that you're true to what you believe in and that you actually do it with that passion. So if you're looking into getting into business, regardless of what it is that you're going to get into,
Have a
make
passion
sure
for it.
that it is something that you're passionate about, that
Yes.
you believe in.
Right.
Because people can see right through you.
Yes, they can. And I always say to be authentic or just
Yes.
don't go. The other thing I think is really crucial that people who want to start a business should think about is that there are resources and agencies that they can go to. For instance, SCORE. SCORE is an organization that is there solely to help small business owners. So it is an opportunity for them, if they're thinking about it, to, and what do you always say? When you are thinking of going into a business, what do? You plan, plan, and plan. So that's the one thing that I would think about, but I think you must go and get information. Do your research so that you're on point and on task for getting things done.
Oh,
Would you
yes,
agree?
definitely. Right now, we're what we call in the planting season of Liberty Tax Service. I know a lot of people see me in the office and they say, what are you doing at this time of the year? Well,
Yeah.
we are planting all of those seeds, regardless whether it's tax school, regardless whether on the insurance side, the Affordable Care Act. We're getting everything and all that chaos training done before December 31st, before now November 15th,
Right.
so that we can just go into the execution mode once we
Okay.
open our doors.
Well, yeah, because then it'll just be go.
Go.
So, and so again, you're planning ahead of time, and then when you're thinking of business, when you're in business, it's always about making sure that you have everything in order,
Yes.
right? Because without that order, how does things work, right? Well, the one thing I would say that it is awesome to hear all the things that you're doing and how you've been reinvented. And so we won't call it retirement, we'll call it reinventing. I'm excited to see what the next reinvention will be, right? But Diva, it's been awesome having you here today. I want to thank you so much for being on the
you.
show. Thank you for all that information. And again, your office is in Westwood. And what was that address again?
It's 2734 South 123rd Court in Omaha, Nebraska.
Awesome.
120th and West Center Road.
West Center Road. And there they can also drop off cell phones, they can also drop off unwanted clothing, so that you guys can give back that to the
Open door mission.
to the Open Door Mission. Well, the Business Connection is a weekly interview with a small business owner, addressing whatever issues they may have had, giving insight to you. So with that said, we'll join you again next week for the Business Connection. I'm your host, B.C. Clark.